episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Hello, broads. It's a lonely song by myself. I won't be lonely in a second because I'm about to be joined by Natasha and Justine from Two Black Girls, One Rose podcast. I am nerding out because I think they're incredible, and I'm so excited that we're finally doing an episode together and a recap nonetheless. If you have involved yourself in the Bachelor Nation world at all whatsoever, and you don't know about Two Black Girls, One Rose, you've been missing out. We'll include all their info in the episode notes. You're going to fall in love with them. I'm so excited. On another note, my sweet, sweet partner is not here today because she had her baby. Oh my God. Listen, her and I, she won't give me any information. She will not talk to me at all about the birth because she wants to have a in real time conversation on the podcast. So when she comes, and we'll be doing this very soon, when she comes and talks to me about it, I'm going to be finding out all the details when you all are. So I'm like anxiously awaiting and so excited. Also, they don't have a name yet, and don't doubt that I have been creating a whole plethora of Finsta accounts and saying maybe you should name the baby Jess. I don't know. I'll even take Jessie. Jess or Jessie. Jessica. My goodness, go for it. My full name. I'm going to work on it. I would like to have my name as part of her family forever, so we can cross our fingers. But yeah, so our girl is good, and I'm so proud of her and excited, and I can't wait to meet the little one at some point. And she will be back. You know what? I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to promise. I know last time Becca gave birth, she was back the next week. So there's a chance that she'll be on the podcast next week. If not, I think we'll probably do the recap on Tuesday of Jojo's episode, and I'm probably going to wrangle my husband, Evan, into doing it with me. So that will be the plan if Becca's not around next week. But as I said, we're about to be joined by Natasha and Justine. And then on Thursday, I'm sure that a lot of you have seen, and we've talked about it in the episodes, that we are redropping for, I guess now it's only 2 more weeks until we're back to 2 new episodes a week. But we're redropping some of our past favorite episodes. And on Thursday, we will be redropping an episode with Evian Whitney. She is a sexuality doula, and this episode is amazing. She's incredible. I highly, highly recommend that you check it out. If you've already checked it out, I would recommend listening to it again. So that will be on Thursday. But let's get into it with Justine and Natasha, broads. Okay, broads. Well, we are finally joined by Justine and Natasha from Two Black Girls, One Rose. Thank you both so much for coming on.
Of course.
Having us.
I know.
Thanks.
So hyped to be here.
Thanks for making sure I am not lonely this week.
I know. Oh, God.
I was about to do the podcast all by myself, talk to a wall. I don't understand people who can do the single podcasts.
I give them credit.
Yeah.
Truly, you need someone to ping pong your jokes and stuff off of.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I would say some stupid shit too, and just have no idea, and just be like going in a circle with no one to be like, you should slow down.
Right? No feedback loop. No.
Well, broads, if you have never listened to Two Black Girls, One Rose, like I said before, you are missing out. You two are you're the first Bachelor recap podcast, I think?
Oh,
No?
I don't think so. No,
the first one that I care about then?
First one you care about, maybe. Yes.
Then I ignore the other ones. Because I remember when we first started our podcast, we weren't necessarily planning on doing a recap, and then we started, and a few people sent me messages, and they're like, have you listened to Two Black Girls, One Rose before? I'm like, no, because I'd never listened to any Bachelor podcasts. And then I started to listen to some of your past ones, and I love them. And then I had to stop listening because I'm like, I when we're both currently recapping the season, I don't want to listen to them and then steal some of their ideas because they're funny. And I don't want to influence my brain too much. So I have to wait until the season's done to go back and re-listen.
That's fun. Yeah, I don't really listen to too many other recap podcasts either. I think I used to in the beginning, and then I just now like to listen to my own voice. So.
Understood. Understood. So when did you all start? When was the first, what was the first season that you recapped?
Ooh, started with Ari.
Ari season, yeah.
Really?
Good old Ari, yeah. Like fresh after Rachel Lindsay.
Yes.
So Justine and I watched Rachel Lindsay's season together, like every week religiously. We're obsessed. Obviously, she's a Black woman. We're Black. We were just like getting our whole lives just watching her. And then we decided to start the podcast, and lo and behold, Dusty Ari was the next the next person up. So that's where we started.
Yep.
Fresh as Dusty Ari. So were you all watching the show before Rachel at all, or was that the first season?
So Natasha did.
Okay.
Natasha has watched. Have you watched every season?
I remember watching since season 1. So
The very first.
the very first season of The Bachelor. Yes, I was like 9 or something.
Wow.
But I've watched almost every season, like at least part of it in some way, shape, or form. So I've been steeped in this world, shamefully, for way too long. But Justine,
nothing until Rachel's season.
Okay, wow. And so have you two just been friends for a long time, and it's just like, let's just start doing this thing?
Yeah, we met in high school.
Yep.
And our friendship bond, we started our bond over our love for Laguna Beach and the hills. That was the origins of this friendship. So you know what
I was saying when I was talking about Orange County before we got on mic.
Yep. Oh, yes, we know. I mean, we know the TV version that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real. It's not that different. I was living in Dana Point right outside of Laguna Beach when they were filming the first season of Laguna Beach.
Whoa.
And so we like knew those people. I wasn't friends with any of them, but I knew them, and it was always just like, I'd go to camp and they'd be like, oh, you're from Laguna Beach, Orange County, and all those shows were going on, and you'd immediately have a reputation. And part of me was just like, yes, I'm from Laguna Beach, obnoxiously. And then the other part, I was quaking because I just hated having that automatic assumption.
Yeah. Oh my God. LC and all of that cast, those were like our celebrities growing up.
Oh, totally. And I was a wardrobe stylist for years, and I worked with Kristen Cavalieri for a while.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember telling her when I was dressing her at one point, I was like, just so you know, I also lived in Laguna Beach, and I watched your show, and I feel embarrassed talking about this. But here we are as I'm zipping up.
Your dress.
Zipping up from your ass crack to your I should let you know. Okay, broads, let's pause real quick. It's officially summer. That means it's time to do a little bit of refresh to feel your best. And even if the only place you're going is to your backyard or for a family barbecue, same. But after 3 months of staying inside, just the act of getting ready for anything is just thrilling me right now. And one way I've been putting a little bit of extra effort in as we head into the summer is by making sure my smile is pristine. And the only way to do that, of course, is with Hi Smile's teeth whitening system. If you've listened to us for a while, you know how much we love this product. It takes such little effort, but the results are huge. Seriously, 10 minutes a day, that is it. You pop their teeth whitening tray in your mouth, 10 minutes a day for 6 days, and boom, you've got this bright white smile. And let me put some of your minds at ease, because I know what you broads might be thinking. Will it make my teeth sensitive? And let me just tell you, absolutely not. Listen, Becca, myself, Evan, I know has used it, and we all have very sensitive teeth, and we were all a little nervous because we've had some bad experiences. We felt nothing. All of us felt absolutely nothing. I cannot use any traditional whitening strips because they hurt my teeth so badly. With Hi Smile, you get all the results without any of the sensitivity. And if you want to try out Hi Smile's teeth whitening system yourself, Hi Smile is offering a 20% discount site-wide for a limited time only, and their whitening kit even comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't see at least 2 shades whiter teeth after using that, 2 shades, they'll refund you fully. Just go to highsmileteeth.com to shop their range of products and enter code chatty20 at checkout to get 20% off all their products. That's highsmileteeth, HISMILETEETH.com and enter code chatty20. So starting with with you, Justine, starting watching Rachel Lindsay's season, now that we have officially Matt James as our first Black Bachelor, can you all talk about this? Because I know your podcast has been the forefront of having these conversations for the past few years. Probably the only Bachelor recap podcast that was actively doing so. So what are your thoughts now?
I appreciate the gesture, right? I appreciate the gesture. And it was well overdue, but it was so horribly rolled out that the intention now is so foggy that I hope this man finds love. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. But why was he announced now? We cannot sweep Claire under the rug like this. That was rude. Okay.
Poor Claire.
That was rude. And it just tells me and Natasha and the rest of Bachelor Nation that Black Lives Matter is indeed a trend for them. Yeah. Because they would have announced this before Claire's season and would have said, hey, we know you guys are looking forward to Matt James, but guess what? He's going to be the Bachelor. And it would be in September or whenever. But it's a trend. And so they did it now.
Yeah. It just feels icky. Like, I appreciate just you calling out that, like, Justine and I have been in this space talking about, you know, representation or the underrepresentation of people of color on The Bachelor, because we have been talking about these things since we started our podcast. Yeah. But like now when this, you know, modern day civil rights movement is happening, suddenly it's like The Bachelor, you know, producers and Bachelor Nation has like woken up to like, oh my God, the show has been so white. It is so white. Let's give them a Black Bachelor. But it's like, this has been an ongoing trend. And it's not even just the lack of a Black lead. It's, you know, systemic within Bachelor Nation. It's the lack of contestants. It's the way that they edit the storylines of contestants of color. It's like, it's a whole kind of, it's casting Lee, who was a racist, like blatantly on Rachel's season, giving Victoria F, you know, a moment of redemption on the couch after her all lives matter foolishness. It's way deeper than that. So while we appreciate the gesture, as Justine said, that's kind of like the tip of the iceberg, the teeny tiny thing that we've been asking for. We want to see wide sweeping change throughout, you know, Bachelor Nation, from casting all the way through to, you know, hiring behind the cameras.
Yeah. I mean, I was even thinking about it when I was watching now this recap of Ben, and I was thinking about Jubilee, and I remember watching and how they wrote her story arc and the way that they portrayed her. And then and I couldn't find the clip. I was looking online for a long time. During the Women Tell All, I had the memory of them having the conversation with Jubilee about the other two girls calling her out and saying that, I forget the exact verbiage that they were using, but her saying that she was like the one who was like more, quote unquote, more black. And the fact, I remember watching it and being like, this is what ABC is going to air. Right. This is what they're going to show.
Right. This is what you're choosing to air during Jubilee segment. Okay, cool.
Of all, it's like of all things, this is what, and this was even behind the scenes. This was behind, they didn't have footage of this, and they're going to air this with so much ridiculousness that Ben had in his season. The man who says 1,000,000 I love yous, like, you're going to air this.
This behind the scenes drama no one saw of Jubilee. Okay, cool.
And then during this recap, they then paint a very different story now of Jubilee.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
I was gonna say, Justine, I'm like, oh my God, you didn't see Ben's season in real time, so you're seeing the recapped version.
That's true.
Yeah.
They painted her in this the way that she should have been, because she had an unbelievable backstory. She's a total badass. She was and then we saw her in Bachelor in Paradise, and she was incredible. But when in the actual season, they painted her in this like way, and I remember watching it and being.
Yeah, I really liked Jubilee because, as you said, her story is amazing, but
Incredible.
they edited her to be like kind of this like weird, awkward girl that like couldn't get along with people in the house.
Yeah.
And then they had, as you said, they had that whole moment on after the final rose where they like unleashed some behind the scenes drama that was like not even relevant. And it's like all the things to show why end her character in that light. Why? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. I totally forgot, Justine, that you were seeing that. But yeah, so moving forward, if you both, like you're saying with the whole Claire piece, I mean, what would you both think that moving forward would have been the better action steps for them to take instead of just casting him?
I mean, I would have loved the announcement or apology, like Instagram post, even just posting that before they announced Matt. That would have felt a little bit more sincere. The whole thing was messy. It's like they announced Matt after all this mounting pressure, and then we get an apology announcement or something afterwards. So that already just look totally insincere. So I would have loved just some acknowledgement from ABC or the production company as to, we fully acknowledge our, lack of diversity and inclusion within the show over the last 18 years. We will do better. We understand ways in which we've perpetuated, systemic racism and have not been able to have not contributed to representation on primetime television. That was a choice we made, and we now see the wrong in our choices. Like, I wanted to see some acknowledgement. And then if you want to slap up Matt or whatever the hell afterwards, go do that. But like, just the order of events felt very bizarre. And that's why it felt like they were just kind of like giving us what we've been asking for or what they think we've been asking for. And just didn't sit well after you kind of like marinated on it for a little bit.
Did you guys listen to the Bachelor happy hour with Rachel Lindsay and Becca?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
That was sad. That was really sad, I thought, because I listened to it and it sounded like they were dissolving on the bike as we were listening.
Yeah.
I was like, how are they going to come back? I told Natasha, we FaceTimed before, like off mic. I was like, if your boyfriend was just racist and we just had to do this podcast together, I don't know what I would do. How do you just continue like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was, hearing, I mean, Rachel Lindsay, I always say she's like the hardest working bachelorette for the franchise.
Oh my God.
They do not deserve her.
She always has like 15 jobs going to.
15 jobs.
How the hell?
Half of which relate back to The Bachelor when she feels, you could tell she's always felt some type of way about her involvement with the franchise, but sticks with it because she wants to see change. And she thinks that her voice, hopefully can be powerful enough to continue pressuring them. But listening to her in the most recent episodes of Bachelor Happy Hour and her conversations with Becca and her crazy fiance Garrett and all his foolishness, you can just feel how exhausted she feels and just kind of like over it. And I have to give her so much credit for sticking around because it's not an easy world to be in as people of color. The world is not, the Bachelor Nation is not inclusive. The fan base is not inclusive. We talk consistently about Rachel Lindsay. She hasn't even cracked 1 million followers yet. And yet she's the hardest working bachelorette, So it's just like a weird world to be in. So I give her a lot of credit for continuing to have these conversations, which are very exhausting to have.
Well, it sounded like you said, I don't know how you have another episode after that episode. It was so, I mean, I was like, my eyes were full of tears the whole time because it was, like you said, watching something dissolve. And Rachel put so much of her heart out there, which to me was so you know, as a listener, a white listener, I was like, I don't deserve this, to hear this right now. This is just this vulnerable piece that this woman has been having to bear through, and then a friend of hers in this franchise that's just been, you know, unfair to her. So that was it was like a gift to listen to, as much as it was just like so hard. But my vote is, if they dissolve, we're gonna vote you two in. We're gonna start a petition.
Oh God!
Get on the petition.
Start a petition, make you the official Bachelor Nation podcast. Okay, keep these people accountable.
Yeah, I don't know if they want us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, then that's why they should have you.
Agreed.
But you know, that being said, I do want to say for myself, and for so many of our listeners, I do want to thank you both so much for coming on. And I know you don't. I know this week I happened to see on your Instagram, you're saying that you're taking a week of self-care. And so to have you on and putting effort and yourselves out there right now, and, you know, I can't imagine what's going on for both of you right now. And I just want to thank you for that. I really deeply appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, honestly. And I also want to just give you a special shout out, because you have been amplifying Black voices, particularly our voice, before it was cool to do so. We will never forget when we transitioned from being a free podcast on iTunes to moving to Patreon. And Jess, you got on your Instagram story and tagged us and said, you guys need to support Two Black Girls, One Rose. They're independent podcasters. Go join their Patreon. And we won't forget that. You've been living this life, been about that life before it was a hashtag, before it was cool. And so we are blessed and honored to be here on your podcast.
Same with Becca.
Same with Becca.
Yeah.
Well, she's heavy about that life, yeah.
I can't deny when there's a fucking good podcast. It's just how it is. So thank you. Well, should we just get into it now? I so appreciate your guys' thoughts, and Justine, I'm very interested to hear you do this recap, since you are just seeing Ben for the first time.
Right. I've only known him as like the host of that podcast.
And I feel like watching him in this, you're like, oh, you've always just been that Ben.
That Ben. Yeah.
Ben, what did you think about the when you watched Ben's season, Natasha? Did you like Ben as a Bachelor?
I did. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone at that time, everyone at Bachelor Nation loved Ben Higgins. I think during his season, he was like birthed to be the Bachelor. He like fits the mold, Midwestern, like quarterback. You know, he's very sweet. So yeah, definitely when I was watching it, I was like totally into it. But I think now getting to know him, and now like in 2020, just like these terms of like basic and vanilla are more used. That's probably the words I might have used before, but now it's more fitting now. But yeah.
Sweet Ben looks like God bless Sweet Ben, but he looks like every boy that went to my school who was there on like a volleyball scholarship and studied theology and went to my Baptist university. He's just all of them. All of them. Yep. Did you guys watch any of the other recaps so far, or was this your first time seeing Chris Harrison in his home?
This was my first. I've been watching. I don't know, Justine, if you've been seeing like some of the highlight videos on Twitter, but otherwise I can't sit for 3 hours. 3 hours on a Monday. Long. So long. I can't. I draw the line at 2.
Yeah.
No, but we literally, last week was the first one Becca and I watched with Caitlin Bristow, and when the scene opened with Chris Harrison sitting in his
study
with his poor son filming.
Oh, poor kid.
Is school out? Like, why is his kid in the back like that? Oh my God.
Chris Harrison, are you paying your son? Is he getting?
Is he getting a stipend?
Great.
Right.
Is this some sort of internship? Poor Joshua is just there in his like baseball hat and basketball shorts, just like awkwardly having to get some screen time in, just like, hey, what's up, everybody? With his book in the back. Did you see Chris Harrison's book mounted in the back?
Floating book, yes.
It was his book? He wrote it? What?
Apparently.
Oh, jeez.
Is it out?
I guess. I mean, it's back there and he hasn't mentioned it.
Just sitting there silently, floating in the background.
Okay.
Like, I guess I'm just going to have to purchase this on Audible, I guess. Use it as one of my free books.
Yeah. Free subscription.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay for it, but I will. If it's free, I'll take
30
it.
30-day free, thanks.
So we see in this episode, like, I completely forgot so much about this episode, which I said in the last one too, but I had forgotten everything except how many times he said I love you. And then I remembered, I was like, okay, I remember Olivia, I remember Jubilee, I remember, and we have Lauren and Jojo.
Yep.
And there's
a lot of like now Bachelor Nation influencers that came from his season. I was surprised to see how many I like recognize. Yeah, Justine, I'm sure you recognize some too, and you don't even.
That girl Amanda
Stanton.
Yeah, she's got over 1 million followers on IG.
Yeah, she and then she was on Bachelor in Paradise. I know her when I first started watching the season because my husband at the time was a waiter at were we married? Yeah, we were married. He was a waiter at a restaurant, and one of the other waiters there was Amanda's ex-husband.
The father of those two kids?
Yeah.
Ooh, what's the tea? No.
Yeah, right.
I know. I was trying to get it out of him. I was just like, because Evan at the time, my husband didn't watch the show at all, and so he was like, "Oh yeah, he came back, and his ex-wife's going on the show, and he's gonna watch the kids while she's on The Bachelor." And I was just like, "So tell me everything."
Yeah. So
what's all the drama? I got nothing. This guy was tight-lipped. It was very obnoxious. But then I heard her talking on the season about it, and she wasn't painting him in a great light. And so then I ran home, and I was just like, guess what? Apparently your coworker sucks. Sorry, guy. There's Becca Tilly, which they didn't show Becca Tilly at all.
In the highlights, they didn't. Her whole
Becca Tilly was on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's famous.
She's famous.
Yes.
She had a
huge storyline.
Storyline
on his season. She was one of the first outed virgins, right? Yeah. On like the season before it became like a thing.
I forgot that was such a huge part of her story arc. Oh my God. They showed her so like, we saw a glimpse of her for 2 seconds during this recap. There was this part of me that was like, was she on Chris Soule's season? Am I mixing this up? But then I'm like, oh my God, no, it was Ben's, and they didn't show her at all. And I thought that she was a Bachelor sweetheart, which makes me think, is something going on?
What's that all about? That's true. I did notice that. I wrote her name down once, and then she never came up again.
Never came up. We're catching up with all these other people that we don't, like Caila, who hasn't remained part of the franchise at all.
Yeah.
Who I like.
You like Caila?
Yeah. She had great hair.
Yeah. So stunning. So stunning. Yeah. I liked her. I liked her on the season.
Yeah, I did too. She was almost Bachelorette, wasn't she?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have picked Jojo instead of Lauren, I bet Caila would have been Bachelorette.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think I remember at the time they were they had like paparazzi like pictures of them filming her like intro, like filming Caila's intro, and then like at the last minute they chose Jojo. So
geez, she would have been a good Bachelorette. She would have been a good Bachelorette. Well, we had, I mean, the night one, I completely forgot about. With night one, we saw the twins. I forgot that the twins were on the season 2.
Massive eye roll.
That shit was so weird.
They came
They're annoying as hell.
together.
They're just a walking gimmick. Like they are a walking limo entrance that just never ends. I find them so annoying and whack.
Yeah.
And they kept up the whole shtick like through Bachelor in Paradise multiple seasons. Like it's so tired. I can't.
I just couldn't understand. The whole time I was watching them, anytime they come on, I'm like, is this like a marriage of both situation? Because they always have them together. Is this what's being promoted? I don't get it.
Right.
This is the wrong show. This is not, was it Sister Wives or I don't know. The 5 like Sister Wives thing? Yeah, no.
They were so weird. When they had their intro and they were river dancing together in those outfits, I was like, what on earth is this?
What is this?
And Ben's just like group hug.
Yeah, no. So bizarre.
So this is the best night ever. And then at one point, there was a girl, and I don't know who it was, and I can't believe they even aired this, who sang like, in the background, you hear her say like, what is this? Night one, we have a horse, twins, a Russian. And I'm like, that's rude.
Yeah, I was like,
A Russian?
she did say that. I was like,
You put that in with twins and a horse? Oh,
girl, no.
No. Oh, nah.
I'm like, how did they leave that soundbite in?
In.
Wasn't this in 2016?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we knew that was bad in 2016. Why did they do that?
I know. We were more progressive than that. Come on.
Yeah, we don't say this shit, and then you're gonna air that piece in 2020.
Right.
Come on. The one line that the poor girl had, and you catch her in the act.
God.
But yeah, I mean, that first night, it was like, all right, this season was packed with tons of people. We got to see Caila's date that I had forgotten about with.
I forgot about that too. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart and Ice Cube.
That was the year.
Right?
Yeah, that was the year that Kevin Hart was in every single movie. He was everywhere. He appeared on The Bachelor. It was like you literally couldn't get away from him. Everywhere. Oh, jeez.
And then they had Ben just his conversations with him. They were with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
In the liquor store, it was so. I was watching that and I was like, who thought this is a good idea? Who thought that? What stretch were they
for content, right?
For content. They could have stuck him and Caila in that car and driven off. Why did Kevin Hart, Ice Cube in the picture? Oh my god!
The whole time, and then they go to a jacuzzi store, and they're
which now in COVID times, I'm like, oh my god,
you're just like, this is a cesspool. Please remove yourself.
Get out now.
Get out. I would love to be in the brainstorming meetings where they come up with dates. I would love to see how that process goes down.
Yep.
I mean, at a certain point, you're just watching them. They're like, we have to recycle all these dates. But on this specific evening, they decided to really go for it and go brand new. We're going to throw in Kevin Hart, Ice Cube, and we're going to have them go to random stores. It's just, did you all watch Bachelor Listen to Your Heart at all?
No. Skip that one.
Second. Nope.
Let me tell you about those dates.
Oh, God. What happened on those?
I mean, it was like, clearly the budget is way less for this show. Now they gave them an incredible mansion, like a mansion that was 3 times nicer than the typical Bachelor mansion, because I think they didn't really travel much, and they had them filming in LA the whole time for the most part. But they had a date. One of the dates, they took this poor couple to Guitar Center, the store. And
For a date?
For a date.
How was that a date?
With the ridiculous 90s carpeting in Guitar Center, the weird red and yellow uplit lights, and they have to have their date in Guitar Center, and they're just like, and they're acting like, oh my God, Guitar Center on Sunset, it's so iconic. And it's just like,
is it?
Yeah, is it iconic?
What? Stop the madness.
Is a Home Depot off of Beverly also iconic?
Oh my God.
I don't understand.
I did not know they were doing it like that.
Like, did they get to take a guitar home?
Justine, they didn't even get to take any guitars home.
That is
means
just...
Guitar Center didn't even sponsor it.
Right, that's just cheap.
They were just like, enjoy our facilities for the night. This is all you get. That's it. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
Damn, that's tragic.
So I was like, all right, well, at least on this date, like, granted, they had to put them in some jacuzzi that some poor person is going to buy, and everyone was in. But at least they got to hang out with Kevin and Ice Cube.
At least they got that. They got a story out of it. At least.
At least.
Yeah.
And okay, so then they had the whole Jubilee conversation, and yeah, I had forgotten about some of her backstory.
Yeah, I remembered. I mean, Jubilee's one of the most like dynamic individuals I think they've ever been lucky to cast on the show.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she just didn't I mean, probably for the better, but she didn't become like a huge figure in Bachelor Nation. But she definitely has the type of story of a person that you think, you know, could hold a storyline or hold, you know, some camera time or whatnot. But yeah, her story is wild. It's like growing up in an orphanage and her whole family passed away. It's like the layers just kept unraveling with her.
And then military, and then she's like that gorgeous on top of that.
Yeah.
That's
a lot. She has a lot.
That was the thing. It was like, I remember when she first came on screen and I'm like, okay, so not only is this woman in the military, she looks like that. She's like, yeah, all that backstory. And and then I remembered after watching is that scene because, and Justine, you're now finding this out, Ben's tagline was like, he was so scared that no one could ever love him.
Yeah.
And then him having that conversation with Justine where she is talking about her background.
Jubilee.
Jubilee. What was it like, Justine? Ben, you're just like, let me tell you something. Well, that was when I felt like watching her having this insane backstory, pouring out her heart, and then Ben's just kind of sitting there, and she was just like, hey, remember when you talked about how you felt unlovable?
Oh, yeah. Beat this.
Here you go.
Where'd you get that from?
I don't even know. They always have these people who just like make up story, or like make up problems.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just wondering.
It was one of those. Then, please.
I don't think that there was like some story. I think it was just the way he felt.
Yeah, and then they just rode that feeling out throughout the whole season, and it became like
horrible,
an epithet.
All right.
Like, oh my God, this isn't necessarily the reputation that I was hoping to have with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I that was, and then I remember when he cut her, and I don't remember all the details, but I remember it being there. She was having problems with some of the other women. And it's just that classic Bachelorette thing where if you're not best friends with all the girls, you get your ass served to you by all. It's like, what? I mean, all right, if either of you were on the show,
oh, geez.
What's the personality type going in? Like, are you befriending everyone? Are you kind of like everyone?
Everyone. Because really the goal is not that man. The goal is not whoever that man is, that's not it. The goal is
Instagram fame.
And then secondly, be the Bachelorette.
Yep.
Those are the goals.
Yep.
Because the likelihood of you staying with that man is so low.
Yeah.
Having that man is not worth it.
So true.
Being the Bachelorette, having 1 million Instagram followers, worth it.
Yeah.
Give me those ads. Give me those Tyler Cameron money ads.
Give me them Instagram ad money, please.
Give me that money.
I heard rumors of the numbers floating around of what that man makes for an ad, and it was insane.
I believe it.
Just like,
I believe it.
My God.
He has high numbers and his engagement is high. So
his engagement is crazy. And he's going to get even bigger now because he's going to be, he probably will be the duo on Matt's season.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Another good reason to go on the show. Bypass that big, slide into Cameron.
You're like, I have two very, very handsome options in this season.
Exactly. Gotta think bigger.
Yeah, seriously, the goals. I don't know. On the show, I always think, I'm like, I feel like I would go on and I'd want to be friends with everyone because I'd have that goal in mind. Mm-hmm. But I also can't imagine. And I love women. I love girl time. It's my most favorite. Mm-hmm. But when you can't choose all of the 20 women that you're with, and you're in those tight bunks all the time, I'm like, I'm a little bit of an introvert, and I could see myself being like, I need some space and some alone time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know.
I feel the same, and I think that's why I liked Jubilee, because you could tell she was a nice person, but she was just like overwhelmed with all the girls everywhere, like all the time, and they took it as her not being like open, or she's being mean, or like stuck up. But you could tell she was just like, I'm like an introvert and I can't deal with all these personalities all the time. Mm-hmm. So. Exactly.
It's like, you all are exhausting to me. I'm trying to save up some of my energy to be on camera all the time.
Right.
My goodness. Okay, broads, let's pause for 1 second. So I'm a shaver. I've talked about it before. I shave top to bottom. It's a practice that has always relaxed me. And previously, I know this is terrible, I used those disposable razors found at the grocery store because of the price, but they always left me with nicks and razor burn. So not okay. But better is here, broads, with Athena Club. No razor burn in sight thanks to their 5-blade razor head. Yes, and if shaving isn't your thing, that's okay. Here at Chatty Broads, we say shave if you want, where you want, when you want. And if you don't shave, Athena Club is a total one-stop shop for all of your self-care essentials. Body care, supplements, period care, they've got you covered all the way. Plus, all of their ingredients are made with clean and sustainable ingredients that you never have to question, giving you one less thing to worry about. I recently started using their Cloud Shave Foam. Oh my Lord, it feels amazing. It smells amazing. I'm walking around like a dream. And then I started to pair that with their dewy body lotion, and I feel so nice getting out of the shower. It's incredible. And their deodorant. Their deodorant is amazing. I'll stop. There are so many products. You have to go online and check them out. And the best part, the price. The disposable razors are ridiculously expensive, but when you purchase the Athena Club razor kit, you'll get your new razor, 2 razor heads, and a magnetic holder for only $9. $9. Stop using razors that underdeliver and switch to Athena Club. Sign up today and you'll get 15% off your first order. Just go to athenaclub.com and use promo code CHATTY. That's ATHENACLUB.com with promo code CHATTY for 15% off. athenaclub.com, promo code CHATTY. And again, razors, tons of other self-care products. Check them out. So you probably know Honey is PayPal's new money-saving shopping tool, but did you know that it does more than just automatically apply coupons to your cart? It's a way to save and get free gift cards to some of your favorite stores. Here's how it works. Just shop like normal and let Honey apply the best discount to your cart. Then, whether a promo code is found or not, you can earn Honey Gold. Honey's reward points. Let the gold points pile up and cash out for free gift cards to stores like Amazon, Sephora, Target, and more. It's Honey's way of passing on even more savings to you from the commission it makes when you check out. And right now, our listeners can head to joinhoney.com/chatty and get 500 bonus gold points, but only if you use our special URL. Just add Honey to your browser and sign up for an account. That is it. Then you can stack your savings, get promo codes and gold points on stuff you buy every day, from new clothes to groceries and food delivery. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. Add Honey to your computer or laptop for free at joinhoney.com/chatty and get those 500 gold points. That's joinhoney.com/chatty. Oh my God. Lace.
Lace became famous on Paradise, I feel like, even more so than this season.
Even more so.
She was a mess on Paradise. Oh yeah.
I remember thinking when she went on Paradise, like, this is going to be a redemption arc.
Right.
Like, we're going to see a whole different side. Lace is wild.
She leans into the crazy on Paradise. It was crazy. Yeah.
It was rewatching the girl, that girl that you befriend at a bar who's drunk, and then you end up running into her every time that you're out at a bar. And so she's always drunk, and you're like, am I just running into you at bars and that's why you're drunk? Or are you just always
drunk all the time? Oh my God.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Even in her interview with Chris Harrison, I'm just like,
yeah, you doing good? You doing well? How you doing?
That's too bad, because the only villain that I've seen on Paradise, it was Crystal, basically, Coach Crystal, and she really turned that shit around.
Yeah.
Oh my
life.
Lace was she wasn't really a villain, not in Paradise. In Paradise, she was just like a drunk hot mess.
Yeah.
And on Ben's season, she was just kind of like unhinged. I don't think she was like, she was kind of like kooky. She wasn't really like a villainous person.
Yeah,
but it was a lot.
Yeah, she was just. It was just very intense.
Yeah, intense.
And Ben just seemed like it was a little overwhelming for him, being demanded that he give eye contact.
Oh my God!
Through the rose ceremony.
And she pulled him aside to talk all the time. I remember every 5 seconds it was like, Ben, can I get a second? Ben, can I get a second? Everyone's like, enough.
Lace.
Yes.
And I'm like, girlfriend, listen, I mean, at this point when there were still this many women, I'd be grateful that he rememred my name, let alone making like intense eye contact the whole time. Like, oh my God, when she was crying, but I have to give her props because when she removed herself.
Yeah.
That was a good self-aware move.
Yes. Very much so.
That was a big one for me. I feel like personally, anytime someone removes themselves, I'm a fan. Anytime.
Same.
Yeah.
That's what makes Colton season so good.
Yes.
6 people left.
I gotta go.
Bye.
Later. Yeah.
They're like, this isn't quite what I signed up for.
Not having a good time.
I thought maybe you were going to be Jason or Blake, so...
I'm going to leave now. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, yeah. No, when Elise left Colton's season, I was like chanting. I was like, in her wedding dress.
So good.
I'm like, girl, do not turn back. Do not turn back. Yeah, anytime. If someone goes on the show, even if I can't stand them the whole season, and then they remove themselves, I'm like, I'm kind of a fan now.
Yeah. Because they're just like taking ownership of their time. I think this process runs people ragged. So they're usually the people that bow out are the ones that are like, I'm not going to survive this process, so I need to get out before my mental health gets all out of whack. So you have to respect them for that.
Yeah, it's so true. Even with Becca, like watching Becca's season, my Becca, she is imagining the Becca that I know, like crying the way she did and having that meltdown with Ari. I don't know that person. She's so not that way.
Right.
And she's just like, you're so tired.
Yeah.
You're so burnt out and the drama is so constant and they're just in your face with a camera 24 hours a day that you just are like, I'm losing it. Like even people who are like screwed on, like it's like, I can't, I'm losing it.
Yeah. You become like a shell of yourself just to survive in that process.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's just, she's like, as soon as I was driven off set and they handed me my phone, she was like, I was a new woman and I was texting my ex-boyfriend.
I love it.
She's like, hey, you won't believe what I just did. This is crazy. And she's like, I was just myself again and not like, you wake up, you're not tired, you're like not caught up in all of it again. But then rewatching it and then seeing all these people who you think are your friends talking so much shit behind your back.
Oh my God.
Then you unravel again. And then you have the women tell all. The men tell all.
The roller coaster. Jeez.
Oh, I would not do well. It's not the show for me. That's for sure.
Me neither.
Well, speaking of someone who didn't do well, then we got to see Olivia.
Man.
And Justine, did you know about Olivia at all? Have you?
No, but I've heard about mouth breathers or whatever her show. What is the mouth off? Mouthing off? Mouthing off?
Breathers, though?
Damn, Justine. We spent a lot of one of our episodes, mouth breathers. I'm sorry.
Mouth breathers, the podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
I like mouth breathers better, to be honest.
God.
Sorry, guys. Mouthing off. I've heard of that podcast before I ever heard of her.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah. And she started, 2016 was like early to be starting a podcast.
Yeah.
She's
like,
been in it.
She just got in at the good time of the game, I would say. We started in 2017, right? At that
She was at the forefront. She had to get some stuff off her shoulders, probably.
Yes.
After dealing with all that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, having not watched the actual season, like what you thought of Olivia.
Well, I thought she was kooky, but I also thought in her interview little thing.
Chris Harrison looking at the you mean Chris Harrison watching like the box like it's like an 80s sitcom or when she's doing that.
Yes, exactly. It made me really think about 2016 like as a year and how Instagram wasn't as heavy as it is now. There was no memes. There was GIFs.
Yeah.
So her like popping out of that cake was not a thing. It was all Twitter. So it was like all people's words coming at you wild. So you couldn't even really laugh at yourself the way that you could or make funny the way that you could.
Damn, that's a good point.
Then it was still just like bullying.
That's a really good point.
And that really made me like think about all of the villains before, I guess 2018, like a little bit differently. Cause it's like, damn, you really went through it in a very specific moment of social media where everybody was talking and nobody was making money like that. It was not the Kardashians.
That's so true. You're getting all the daggers thrown at you.
And no money.
And you're like, why the fuck did I do this?
Why did I do this? What am I getting out of this? No ad money, no Instagram fame. Yeah.
So true, especially since she had like a legitimate job.
Yes.
That too. She's a news anchor. Right? Yeah.
And then you have to go on camera again. And so people get to see you on camera all the time.
Yeah.
What did you think about her when you were watching this season, Natasha?
I remember Olivia, she got so much validation. Like she got rows after rows after rows. Like She got the first impression. She got multiple group dates. Like she was very much hated by the girls because they were like, what the hell? This is literally the Ben and Olivia show. So regardless of if she was, not even looking back, I don't think she was that bad. Like she just got a lot of Ben's attention, and she also put herself in positions like, you know, taking him first and things like that. But she wasn't like a villainous, mean person, but she just got so much validation that everyone was like, what the hell? This is so unfair.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was now watching it, I'm like, I remember her being this villain. And now obviously she's got her Mouth Breather podcast where she talks about the villains.
Right.
But I'm like, since then we have Luke P. Like we got Chad during JoJo. I mean, we had some wild people on the show. And I guess at the time she was somewhat new maybe in how intensely she was pursuing Ben. But yeah, looking back on it, I was like, I guess she just kind of gave me like the energy, like she had a stick up her ass and she had that like, she's your new stepmom and you don't like her because she's your stepmom, but she didn't do anything wrong. She just married your dad.
Right.
But, so I felt bad watching it back. Like, oh my God, she took so much heat.
It's like a beating.
And maybe I'm forgetting big things, but I don't feel like, other than being the one who got, like you said, all the validation.
Yeah.
Like she definitely didn't feel like she deserved all of the kickback that she got.
I don't remember her. I think so another person who always becomes the villain is like that girl who always like steals time or takes him first. And I think she did that a bunch. Yeah. And so that they like coded that as like, oh, she's a villain. She's like, you know, so always in his face and stealing time or whatever. But I mean, I'm always down for the girl that steals time. This is what you're here for. Hello.
Yeah. Like you said, if you want to get those Instagram followers, you have to make sure that you have screen time.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
How else do you make sure you have screen time, especially if you don't have a big sob story?
That too. Yeah. Exactly.
You got nothing. You have to steal him. You have to steal him. And then seeing the moment with her coming out of the cake.
Oh.
That was so bad and so
really bad.
slow. It went crawled by. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like slow motion. It was terrible.
It was like the new version of the sloth girl. Just like
yes, exactly. Yes. Oh, God. Oh yeah, it was bad.
After watching that, I was like, this girl experienced enough humiliation during this piece where Lord knows she was just trying to be sexy and it came out uncomfortable. Like, give her a break.
Yes,
and everyone's
please.
giving her such a hard time. I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, honestly, if that was something that I did on the show, that would just be my forever thing. Like, you know, I'd show up in paradise in a cake and just like awkwardly crawl out of it.
Yeah.
I was selling fishnets on Instagram and corsets. Cakes. The whole thing.
Make it a thing.
Exactly. You're just like, you want this sexy lingerie and you don't have to act sexy in it, but here's the sexy lingerie.
Here's the lingerie to match though.
Oh God. Well, I was glad that I was happy that they gave her a moment because she has disappeared from the franchise and they never connected with her again. And she seems like a nice person, you know, and she got to have her moment with Chris and then Ben coming on and talking to her like he's the president.
That was so weird. He was like delivering a speech to her. There was like no conversation. It was so bizarre. I hated that moment.
I hated it so much.
Did they get far?
She said, "I love you."
What?
So
and that's the scene when then you see him. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. So here's the thing, Justine. It felt, at least to me, I remember watching it being like, oh, she'll for sure at least get top 3 because like Natasha was saying, he kept validating her, Rose, 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 Rose. And then, like, out of nowhere, they have this date. She says, I love you. And Ben just cuts her off.
Straight up.
And is just like, I can't get there with you. Bye. And it was like, oh my God.
Terrible.
It was so hard to watch.
Left her on like some deserted island. So like the drone like backed up, and she was just like, she got
the first of everything. She got the first drone shot. She killed Instagram money. Everybody's making fun of her. She's probably one of the first gifs.
Poor girl.
The drone, and they're like, just so you know, no one's here.
No one is here.
No one is here.
No one's here.
Alone, girl.
You are shivering in the cold. Yep. Bye.
The geyser is just exploding behind her, and it's just so dramatic. I'm like, is she in danger?
Yeah, like, is someone gonna come get her? Is this it?
This feels dangerous. And Ben just pieces out. There's not even like here's my arm. Let's get you back into a helicopter.
Yeah, right.
Have the goodbye limo exit, the goodbye helicopter. He's like, I'm gonna take the helicopter, enjoy this deserted island.
Right. You stay here.
You can swim.
Right.
What?
And now all I'm going to give you in reparation is this super awkward, I'm so proud of you speech in 2020.
Right. 4 years later. Goodbye.
It was, Ben has become, and we give him so much shit. And the last time that we spoke to him on Almost Famous, he was like, why do you guys hate me so much? And we're like, we don't hate you. We just think you're literally everywhere. And sometimes we don't want to see you all the time in the franchise.
Agreed.
And we're convinced that you're Chris Harrison's love child. And that's why he puts you in all these spots. I'm surprised Ben's not where Josh is, like, filming the show.
Right. Exactly. Oh my God. Remember when he was on Winter Games? And he was like he like just broke up with somebody like a week ago and showed up on Winter Games, totally not ready for love.
With that girl who only spoke Japanese?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because he was not there looking for love. He was there just to be there because he has to be everywhere.
Oh my God. And he had broken up with Lauren, and they had been together for years at this point.
Yes.
It wasn't some like 2-month relationship.
No.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that. All of us were like, Ben, what are you doing here, guy?
Like, come on. You can say no sometimes. Please.
You don't have to always say yes.
No.
How good is the check? Is it that good?
The check must be that good.
It must be that good. I mean, I've tried to find out some of those specific paychecks, and they seem to keep those under lock and key.
I'm sure they do. Yep.
I know you don't get paid until you're a returning guest, really. Right. I mean, until it's Bachelor in Paradise, or unless you are like the Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Right, yeah.
But round one, you better get that. You better pull those people. You better pull night one, be the one stealing the guy or the girl, because you need those Instagram followers if you want to get paid. That's for sure.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Amanda. I forgot about the fact that, sorry again, Ben, but fucking Ben went to her home and met her children.
I forgot about that too. I was shocked watching. I was like, oh shit, that happened. She introduced her 2 whole entire kids to this man. And they got sent home.
Kid.
And they got sent home the next day. Like, a waste.
Took them onto the beach, holding their hands and shit.
The whole moment.
And like she said, they've never met anyone else that she's dated.
Right.
You're seeing the moment. They were 3.5 and 2.
3.5 and 2.
A little.
There was a few things then. Now watching this again, where it was like America loved Ben. He was the sweetheart, whatever. I can't believe he walked away not being like kind of hated to a certain degree because of some of the stunts this man decided to pull. Like, say bye to Amanda week 5. If you don't know for sure she's at least going to be in the top 2, you don't go meet her kids. Or if you go to the hometown, you have to say, hey, I want to spend time with you and your family, but I don't feel comfortable meeting your children yet for their sake and for your sake.
Yeah. I'm curious though, should that be Ben's should that be Ben saying that, or should that be Amanda as the mother saying, I don't think you're ready? Yeah.
And that's the facts. Yeah.
I've always kind of looked at her sideways for that.
Yeah. I mean, as a mother, I never like to mom shame because Lord knows, I mean, if I didn't have my husband, I don't even know what my dating situation would look like. My poor daughter probably have a babysitter every night. I'd be all over the town. But, you know, I wonder why, for sure. That would probably not have been a choice that I would make. But
yeah,
I think, I mean, I never like to chalk up anything to age, but I think she was pretty young.
I think so too.
You know, I just the whole situation just was like heartbreaking, and I'm like, damn. And then, I mean, she's still single, I think, and you know, good for her. She's been very successful from the franchise and is providing for those 2 kiddos.
Yep.
But Ben, come on.
Come on, Ben.
Come on, Ben. Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh gosh. And she's just seems so convinced that they're gonna hit it off. But he doesn't choose her. He chooses Caila instead. Who he calls a sex panther. Another moment where I was like,
God. Lord.
A sex panther.
Sex panther.
yeah. He's like, she's so quiet and like sweet, but she's like a sex panther. And I was just like, oh God, Ben.
Yeah, icky. No.
I'm trying to like repeat it to hear if it's racist.
Yeah.
Like,
There was,
fetishes, Asian fetishizing.
Oh yeah.
Something going on.
Something.
It felt uncomfortable listening to it. That's for sure.
And when you look at Caila, she's like this sweet little like thing. What? Sex panther? Come on.
I was like, so she'll make out with you like all the other girls do? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Come on, Ben.
Lord. Yeah.
And so I was then flooded with memories where you have her telling Ben that her greatest fear is that she's not going to be able to fall in love with someone. And then I remembered that scene with her mom and how much I loved her mom and how she was just like, if you feel it, go do it now. Tell him right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember watching that and being like, oh my God, I would just die with joy if that was the way that if I was on the show and that's how my parents handled it. Like they trusted me that much that they're like, this show seems crazy, but if you feel like you're in love with him, go tell him now.
All right. That's true. The mom was like fully on board, which is shocking to see. Yeah. But she was so sweet about it. Yeah, she really trusted Caila and whatever decision she wanted to make. This guy seems great. Sure, go for it. I fully support. So that's nice.
Yeah, unless she was a big fan and we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, tell him you love him. I can tell he's going to say no, and then you'll become the next Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Right?
Put yourself out there. Well, then we got a little catch up with her and Chris Harrison, and I completely forgot about Caila and Jared and Ashley I's love triangle in paradise.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Jared?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me fix my face. I'm so sorry. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Jared was a hot commodity that Paradise season.
It was. I don't know why. I still can't get with that facial hair, but okay.
That facial hair I can't get with either.
I can't get with it.
Jared's one of the ones I love Ashley I. Jared just
never saw the appeal.
Yeah, I don't see it.
No. Sorry, guy. Seems sweet.
Yeah.
Not someone I'd be crushing on.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I forgot about him and Caila. Dang.
Yeah. So they were, I might be messing this up, but they were on Paradise, right? And then Ashley I was like in love with Jared, and Jared chose Caila, not Ashley I. And they like left together, and I think they lasted for a few months, and then they broke up.
Mm-hmm.
And last
Right.
week on Caitlin's recap, they brought Jared and Ashley on because Jared was on Caitlin's season.
Mm-hmm.
And I was crossing, and it was so awkward when they had them on because Ashley's sitting there and is having to rewatch all these scenes of like Jared declaring his love for Caitlyn, and then like her and Caitlyn are friends now, and it's so awkward.
Yeah. It's so weird. Oh my
It's
God.
so weird. I'm like, the idea of having to sit and watch like my guy like, you know, be with his ex and declare his love for her in real time. But I was just like, put them back on. Like when Caila was up on, I'm like, show us Ashley and Jared have the confrontation.
Yes. Make it
It's
awkward,
so
please.
sad. So sad. But she's engaged. She seems
Seems happy.
happy.
Successful on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Another
Very-
one.
She
Yeah.
did it. And then like you said in 2016s, which means that
That was
she
hard
like
to do. She probably had a blog.
you know what? I think you're right. Because when
Yeah.
I looked at it, I saw something like she's some sort of like wedding planner.
Yeah.
Mm.
The not something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Um
Yeah. Good for
okay.
Caila, though.
I know. I liked her. I really did.
Yeah, I did.
Then we caught up with Dean and Cailin.
No.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm here for your thoughts, both of your thoughts on Cailin and Dean. Tell me everything that you thought about them during,
Well,
like in general, during Paradise together. What were your thoughts?
oh boy. I mean, Dean's exhausting. I think
Tiring.
he's so tiring. I mean, he's very unapologetically himself. So the one thing I will appreciate when he came to Paradise, he's like, look, I live in a van. I don't have a job. I've leaned fully into this life and fully like living this identity of this like beach bum, like privileged white boy, just living poor, but I don't have to live poor. As Justine would say, choosing poverty.
Choosing poverty.
And he came in and he's rid that train all the way through. And I mean, Cailin saw the appeal, so they jumped on it. But I mean, Cailin looks like she's living the good life. She's traveling the world. She's making big money now that they're like a twosome doing things together.
Mhm.
They're doing a lot of like travel sponsorship. They're doing like Instagram right. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Were you two Hannah or Cailin people?
I was more
Hannah.
Cailin, I think.
Oh, during their
During Colton's season.
During Colton's, yeah.
definitely a Cailin person.
Cailin,
yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
We gave Cailin a lot of shit on our show.
Did you? You saw
During
her?
Colton's season?
We went pretty hard in the paint. And then and then on Paradise, we went hard in the paint
We did
too.
too.
I mean, with the whole the whole Blake and Cailin thing, you know,
Yeah.
that was a whole mess.
thing. Yeah.
But Becca was saying when they left Paradise, I mean, I was like, those two will be done in a month. And Becca was like, I think that they're going to be like the one that works. And I'm like, no, you're crazy. There's no way that's going to happen. And like you said, I mean, it seems like they have found each other. I refused to believe that Cailin knew what she was getting into with this, like, as you say, chosen poverty, like in doing that van life. Like, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way she thinks it's going to be, you know, a certain way. It seems like, you know, they've found each other and are killing the Instagram game, killing the YouTube game.
YouTube too?
They're doing YouTube. And the shots are, talk about drones.
Talk about drones.
Really?
Dean's got the top-notch drone.
Dean has top-notch. He has multiple drones. There's angles everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
His video
They're-
content is...
He doesn't have a job. This is his job.
This
What
is
am I
his
saying?
job. This is their job.
His job.
They're living the life.
Yeah. And yeah, with all those travel sponsorships, I'm like, listen, even if the girl hates the van, they are getting free stays at some of the fanciest chic
Places.
hotels
Oh,
you've
yeah.
ever seen. Maybe
Yep.
they don't take footage of themselves at those hotels, but I wouldn't hate shoving myself in a van every once in a while to get a free hotel stay.
Sure wouldn't.
All over the world.
Sure wouldn't. And Caitlin, she's not dumb. She probably saw that into the future.
Absolutely.
She knew.
She did. Because she doesn't seem like the type to choose poverty.
No.
She saw it. She saw the end. She saw the end result.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylin has always seemed like a very sharp person.
Strategic, goal-oriented, even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can appreciate it. Again,
Oh yeah.
Coming into the game with an end goal.
Yep.
And okay, Chris Harrison then brings up, are they going to be tying the knot soon? Now, on last week's episode, he was demanding this of Caitlin and Jason. Like, so I am an officiate. And then Jason, or I'm sure you saw the clip of then Jason, Caitlin thinking he's maybe proposing, but it was his AirPods, which was like a very awkward. I felt so bad for Jason and Caitlin because I'm just like, oh my God, this moment where they're like, thanks, Chris Harrison, for making this very uncomfortable. But then at least she was given this huge gift of Dancing with the Stars. But this one, when they ask, and Dean, classic Dean, he doesn't want to have the government involved.
Oh, jeez.
He reminds me, Natasha, tell me if you agree. He reminds me of a hotep.
Of a hotep?
Like a white one.
A white hotep.
Yeah.
What?
Explain this to me.
Yeah, let's explain this.
Explain this. Yeah, get stretched.
A hotep is someone who, usually a man, who is so deep in their conspiracy theories that they are willing to throw away regular life for them, and usually don't believe very heavily in the rights of women, especially the women that they're not having sex with. Definitely the LGBTQIA++ community, they have got to go. And usually they have read the 42 Laws of Power, one of those. They're often rappers on SoundCloud as well. And they are very much so proponents of the government, usually governments, plural, not being involved in their business, which is usually nothing, right? We're all involved in your business, Dean. That's why you have an Instagram following and a YouTube channel.
Yes, this is why you make the bucks.
This is how you do it. So
I think I follow. So this type of person is the type of person who probably believes that COVID is a giant conspiracy.
5G.
Okay, 5G all the way, baby.
5G. Yep.
Bill Gates is trying to fucking look us all over.
Yep.
All right. I would not be, you know what? I feel like you're onto something. I would not be surprised if Dean had one of that 5G book underneath his bunk.
In the van. Yep.
It's been read front to back a few times. He brings it up at dinner parties.
Oh, jeez.
Everyone's just like, oh God, Dean. Well, do you remember Dean's dad?
Yeah.
How can we forget? Yes.
How could we forget?
Drunk we were that episode because we were like, ooh, it's Dean's hotel.
Oh yeah, we were turned up for that episode. Oh God.
One of the very few moments on Bachelor Nation that was like, this is just as good as the previews, maybe better.
It was so good. There have been very few moments that I was more uncomfortable. Like it was the top 3 discomfort level watching this show.
Yes.
So Dean's dad definitely seems like he would be hiding from 5G.
Oh yes. Yes. Like father, like son.
Yep.
So maybe him and his dad don't get along, but he's taken on certain characteristics.
Certain qualities have come over.
Qualities have been peeking through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm writing it down. I'm going to use that.
Hotep.
I'm using hotep.
It'll spread.
It's going to spread like wildfire. Well, Apparently, Dean has been wearing the ring on his finger to just mess with us because that was circulating. Like, are they married?
Yeah.
And then he said it's like basically, I guess, it's like a promise ring, but they're not going to get. And I'm like, I think you want it to be photographed in People magazine, my friend. I think that's why that ring is on your finger, but it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy that they're happy.
Yeah, and it keeps them relevant. Like, they're smart. Dean's no idiot. He knows how to make money and how to keep himself, further relevance in Bachelor Nation.
Keep him relevant and keep pumping out that, truly A+ content with with that footage. Yep. It is crystal clear.
Yep.
I'm so excited.
Yep.
It's crystal clear. Okay, broads, let's pause one last time, but I am so excited to talk about this. I am so excited. Listen, I will admit, sometimes when it comes to home workouts, I can lose motivation quickly. I'll be honest. However, in the past few months, I've had to learn how to love virtual workouts, and after trying pretty much every online workout that exists these days, I've found my favorite. And my favorite is Fight Camp. Oh my God, I love Fight Camp. Fight Camp brings the boxing gym right to your living room with a mix of cardio or conditioning for a full body workout unlike anything I have ever tried before. It comes with all this gear you need, including a freestanding punching bag, boxing gloves, quick hand wraps, and their punching tracking sensors so you can see real-time progress. If you thought at-home workouts were boring, you can think again because with Fight Camp, you'll have access to over 400 different workouts from 6 master trainers. And don't worry if you're new to boxing like I was, or even new to fitness, which I am too. There's a program for every level, including their 12-week starter program that teaches you the basics of boxing while still giving you the best workout of your life. I have never felt more badass and strong and independent and confident since using Fight Camp. And they also have those products for younger ones. So we got them for Ember, and you don't think that Ember's living for using that punching bag and getting her little Fight Camp on? You can think again. She's obsessed. We're both obsessed. And if you're still skeptical, Fight Camp is so confident you're going to love their programs. You can give them a try for free. Just download the Fight Camp app and select the workout of your choice. And if you're not too sore to move the next day, you'll be back for more. I promise. Fight Camp offers flexible financing for as low as 0% APR. And right now, as a limited time offer, you can try Fight Camp for 30 days with their money back guarantee. Just go to joinfightcamp.com/chatty. That's right. Try Fight Camp for 30 days. And if you don't love it, they'll refund your money. Train like a fighter and turn your sweat into results. To try Fight Camp for 30 days, just go to joinfightcamp.com/chatty. That's joinfightcamp.com/chatty. Join me. You're going to love it. All right. Now back to the podcast. Okay. So the top 2.
Yes.
We have then Ben, who decides to tell both Lauren and Jojo that he is in love with them.
Yikes.
Natasha, when you were watching this, did you who did you think he was going to choose?
Oof. It was hard. I'm trying to remember. I think I still thought he was going to choose Lauren B. Because Jojo, I think, was also getting very much like set up for like a Bachelorette kind of edit.
Yeah.
I think that they've always loved Jojo from the limo entrance and like throughout the whole season. So I felt like they were trying to make it look split, like who will he choose? But I kind of always felt that he was going to go with Lauren B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren was an interesting one to me. I felt very similar about her and Ari's Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because they look the same. I don't know.
Yes.
But it was that, like, I liked her. It wasn't that I didn't like Lauren, both Laurens, but she just, I felt like we didn't really get to know her at all in Ben's season.
Yeah.
And you knew that he had this connection with her, but it was like, I remember not feeling any sort of, when he chose her, I wasn't like, oh my God, yes. Like,
right.
It was like, all right, that's fine. She seems nice enough, but you didn't get like an emotional connection with her at all.
Yeah. They were another, like, as you said with Ari, that like unspoken thing that can't be captured on television, so you just like don't connect with her the entire season like that. That was that. But Jojo you very much connected with, so I was like she has to be the Bachelorette. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they had that elusive thing where no one knew that they had chemistry, but apparently they did.
Apparently they did. Exactly.
Yeah, I did not. Yeah, I didn't ever have like that moment with her. I did end up watching. They had like that little reality TV spinoff for a minute after the show aired.
Oh, they did, yes.
For their wedding, and I watched it only because a friend of mine she does like wedding invitations, so her company was like featured in it. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it for you. I remember watching the episode and being like, this is not going to last, because Lauren didn't seem like she liked him very much at this point.
Whoa, really?
It was just kind of one of those things where you love each other, but like she seemed over Ben.
Damn.
From the reality show wedding special?
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was gonna end well.
Yeah.
And I only watched like 2 episodes of it, but I remember watching the second episode and being like, I don't know if this is a good idea for them.
Damn. Not a good life choice we're watching here.
This feels like you guys had a thing, but then maybe, I don't know, maybe Lauren isn't a fan of Ben's constant Switzerland take,
Right.
you know, where he's can't make. But also, I remember them having conversations because she was tripped up after the show aired, seeing how hard it and knowing how hard it was for him between her and Jojo.
Dang.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'd be able to ever get past that close of like a tie.
That would mess me up for sure.
Especially
There's
for somebody
no
so
way.
different than me. I feel like Jojo and Lauren were real different, right?
So different.
Definitely. Totally different personalities.
I would just be like constantly in my head. Like anytime you did anything, I'd be like, do you wish I was Jojo?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you wish you were with Jojo right now? Because you almost picked her. And during that breakup with her, I mean, you seemed very upset afterwards. So it's not like you were confident with that decision.
Right. Going into his proposal, he like literally still wiping away tears and like trying to calm himself down. Like, I don't want that coming into my proposal. I don't want to watch that. That's terrible.
He's still like dry heaving. Like
Yeah. Trying to catch his breath. Oh my God. That's terrible.
And the way Chris Harrison framed it, he was like, this is one of the most devastating breakups in Bachelor Nation history. And he was like, and moments later, one of the most romantic. Like, how did that happen?
That's totally how it was watching it when you were, because you were like, I am devastated at what's happening right now, and I feel so bad for Jojo, and now I'm supposed to celebrate. Like it's too much. Like
Weird.
break up the episode.
Yeah.
Like let me capture it next week when I'm in a different frame of mind. I'm still like Ben struggling. My God.
Yeah.
Well, and especially like, so he does the forbidden, you don't tell 2 people that you love them on the show. And I was laughing when Chris Harrison caught up with Jojo later, because Jojo was like, I just thought he wasn't allowed to do that.
Right. That's why her face was so shocked when he said, I love you back. And she's like, hold up. Does that mean I won? Because you're not supposed to say it at all. So, yeah.
And when he said it to both of them, I mean, they both had that face. When he said it to Lauren like threw herself back. It was just like, I can't believe this is happening. It was just, they both had this moment of, oh my God, I know for sure that he's picking me in the end because he just told me that he is in love with me.
Yeah.
I still, rewatching it, I still could not believe that he walked away with America on his side.
Right.
I mean, how?
He got the best edit. Like, I don't know how they crafted that. And as you said, and it ended with him being still in a good light, because he flat out told Jojo, I love you. And then in the next breath sent her home.
Yes.
and even I think at the proposal, he's saying you're like my best friend, like all these things, all these terms. How do you say these things and then send her home and then still end as America's golden child? I don't know how they did it, but
that's why he still shows up for everything.
Yeah.
He's helping. I mean, I'm convinced that when Chris Harrison steps down, like Ben is taking over.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm convinced.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Jojo shows up and he lets the woman give a 3-minute long love speech.
So long.
God, I hate that.
It was so
good. Also.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So long. Like to the point where I was like starting to fall asleep during it. I was like, all right, this is enough. And he just was like this the whole time.
I hate that.
Like, come on. There was at one point, even like 2 minutes into it, where she paused to see if he was going to say something. And then it was like, I guess I'm going to keep going with my love speech.
My whole speech.
It was just letting her do the whole thing. And then his line to her is that he is in love with her, but I found love with another person that was even stronger
or something. Yikes.
Couldn't believe it. All I could keep thinking about was Peter. Like, we gave Peter so much. America gave Peter so much shit, and rightly. But they were kind of similar.
Yeah.
They were. Somehow Ben skated on through, though.
Yeah.
Unscathed.
Peter needs to take tips from Ben because, I mean, he did it. He got away with it.
Straight up
he's
got away
thriving.
With it.
I don't think Bachelor Nation will welcome Peter back in with open arms.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's over it. Just like
over
totally.
Kelly, over his mother.
Oh, Barb.
Barb. Ooh.
Yeah, over any associations with him, I think we're just so tired after that god awful season.
I know,
especially because we could have had Mike.
Especially because we could have had Mike, and we had to suffer through that.
That's real bad.
It was devastating, and Becca and I were talking about this the other week. We were like, it was clear going back to what we were talking about at the beginning that ABC is just, now all of a sudden with Black Lives Matter, they're trying to check, like mark a box basically. And it felt that way because we were saying there were only 2 people that Bachelor Nation was asking for. They were asking for either Tyler, and Tyler said no, or Mike.
Period.
And they just ignored us, and they gave us Peter, and no one asked for Peter.
No one asked for Peter. No one asked for him.
Nope.
And he gave us that trash season and then picked Kelly in the end, and we didn't even have to watch the whole thing.
We had a wild mama, and they painted the family to be like this nice, wholesome family. Oh, we just love Peter. We all live together. It's great.
And that mama was
crazy. They gave us this family that they thought that America. And listen, you know what? America, we can be really fucking stupid, but we all knew in the back of our heads that we didn't want Peter because we didn't ask for Peter.
We didn't ask for him.
And they gave us Peter, and it was a mess. Okay.
Terrible.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe that season. And honestly, this isn't Peter or his family's fault, but now whenever I think about Peter, I'm just going to associate his season with coronavirus.
The time we went into quarantine when Peter started.
I partially blame them somehow in the back of my brain. It's associated. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
Well, Ben skated through, and we find out we're going to see Jojo's season next week, which I'm actually excited for because I did enjoy her season, and my God, we got some villains on that season.
Oh boy, Chad. Oh Lord.
Oh,
Crazy.
Chad, God. And now with all of the stuff that came out about him recently.
Yeah.
And his OnlyFans.
Yeah,
he does.
An OnlyFans?
Chad has OnlyFans.
Porn and OnlyFans, and he's wild. Yeah.
Is he showing like feet pictures, or is he showing like full blown out here?
I think he's full blown.
Ooh,
Yeah, he's out here.
bad. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And I can't lie to you both. I've thought about it because I'm just curious, but I refuse to give that man my money.
Yeah, no.
But I'm curious.
So do
Curious
I.
as to the
He
content,
throws
yes.
himself when he's doing it? Like, how did he do this?
Right.
I don't know. I have to know, but I refuse to give him my cash. So
Mm-mm.
if anyone has a screenshot, please.
Right. Please send them through. We're curious.
Please do. Whoa.
Well, then we see Ben,
Mm-hmm.
you know, talking with Chris Harrison at the end, and Chris Harrison is shading the hell out of Ben, you know, telling him he looked 10, criticizing his quarantine facial
Beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the beard.
Yeah.
I know. I think he looks better with the beard.
Definitely. Yeah.
But Chris Harrison just, you know, giving him shit.
Mhm.
And he says that he doesn't regret saying I love you to both, but that he felt like he was trying to justify to whoever went home that they knew it was worth it.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
I do-
What?
It's not your job.
Run that back. Say that again. What? What does that
I
even
rewound
mean?
and I was like, is Chris Harrison going to follow up on that response? Because what does that mean?
What does that actually mean?
And I know he had said before that he was like, I want everyone to feel good about coming on my season. He seemed very like almost self-conscious of making sure that he was the bachelor that everyone wanted him to be. And I was like, but you don't have to tell everybody that you love him. Like, that's not
Right.
necessary.
There's other ways to get to that end goal. It's like saying I love you to everybody.
You can just be honest and a nice guy. And I think it's probably going to work out okay.
Yeah. Oh Lord. That's
Be
so
decisive.
Ben's like character though. He just wants to be well loved. That's why he
Yes.
never shakes the boat. He never says anything, you know, doesn't want to be too controversial. He doesn't want to piss anybody off. So he ends up not saying anything of substance ever. And then
Yes.
just trying to like stay on everyone's good side. It's
He's the Switzerland
Unsustainable.
guy. He's the neutral. He wants to be neutral always.
always.
Well, then we saw, okay, we have to talk about how he met his fiance.
Right. Yeah, they're engaged.
Yeah.
So they're engaged, and then Chris Harrison was like, "How?" So we see her. She Jessica Clark. I don't know anything about her. But Chris Harrison asked how they met, and she said, Ben screenshot a photo of her at a hockey game on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and then 6 months later slid into her DMs.
6 months.
Like
And I
with
was
the
like,
photo. That was unclear to me.
It was very unclear to me. I was like,
Define
this seems like stalking behavior.
Definition of stalking. Very definition, Ben.
Who's screenshotting a photo of her at a hockey game. Did he find it on her Instagram? Was he also at the hockey game and he
Right.
was looking up the team and the geo tag and he saw a beautiful woman and it's so unclear.
So many questions from that story.
So many questions. And then also she didn't know him. Like her mom had to tell her who it
Right.
was. So a guy who has millions of followers slid into her DMs, and I'm like, that would be quite a strange feeling.
Yes.
And I'd also be like, no, thank you.
What a big smile.
Because I'm like, if you're sliding into my DMs, I mean, maybe she's Instagram famous. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know this
I see that
person.
she has a good amount of followers now, but I don't know if that's because of Ben.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, if she's Instagram famous and he stumbled upon her that way, but if I'm not Instagram famous and a guy who has millions of followers who is somewhat famous slides into my DMs, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little freaked out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
How did you find me? I have 1,200 friends. I don't pop up on anyone's feeds anywhere. You're just scouring Instagram for single pretty girls. Like,
I don't know. She's like, my profile was private.
Oh my
I
God. How he found me.
Weird.
God. Can you imagine?
I needed more answers.
Yes.
Chris Harrison was like, oh, what an interesting story. And Ben was kind of looking at her like this. Like, how much are you going to reveal of this story?
Right.
We've rehearsed a different one.
Right.
We met through a mutual friend. Remember that?
Right. Remember that? The story? Stick to the story.
Oh, and he presented her with an antique rose. You know, he did his nice Bachelor wrap up, and next week we get to see Jojo. And I am looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The 3 hours are lengthy, but I do like, I like the catch up with people, even though it doesn't result in a lot. But quarantine's lonely. And so it's been nice to catch up with people.
See some people. Yeah. Some new folks.
See some faces.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask, since you both have been recapping, what's the favorite season that you've recapped?
Ooh,
Ari's.
Oh, you say Ari's?
That was our first season. We didn't think anyone was even listening to the podcast, so we were just saying whatever we wanted to.
We were either drunk or high
Every episode. We were just having such a ball. And his season was great. He had a great cast of girls. Way better cast than Ari himself. Like, they clearly were casting for, who was it? Like Peter from Rachel's season.
It was going to be Peter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was going to be Rachel's Peter. I forgot.
We loved the girls, and then the ending with the whole switcheroo was pretty epic. So
that was crazy. The first episode we ever recapped, Becca was pregnant, but I got very drunk. And it's funny sometimes you're like, I don't think anyone's listening to this. Mm-hmm. And so I said some crazy shit and it was out of control. I didn't remember anyone's names. And the next day we got torn apart and I was like, well, maybe next time I shouldn't be that intoxicated and I should take notes.
Lay off the booze.
I gotta lay off. I thought I was having a good time, but I gotta take my notes and realize that, I'm not just in my garage by myself doing it.
Well, more conscious.
But those are the fun. Those are the fun episodes. I don't know.
Those early seasons.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with me, and also for suffering through 3 hours of a season that has already aired. Natasha, that you've seen, and Justine, that you're just like, what the hell is this?
Who are these people?
Were you able to follow were you able to follow it at all, pretty well, even though you didn't know? Okay, because I was curious.
Standard Bachelor formula.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was curious, because I was going to see if my husband wanted to watch with me next week. I'm like, is he going to be able to follow anything that's going on if you don't know any of the characters? I don't. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you can follow it in general.
It's not a too complex of a storyline. I think you can jump right in.
Ladies, this is a really complex show. Okay? There's a lot of depth to the show.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I so appreciate both of you taking your time and making sure that I am not lonely, and it was so nice to finally have a conversation. And I would love to have you both back at some point when Becca is back.
Yes.
And maybe Claire's season, do an actual recap, proper recap.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell all of the broads, where can they find you? All of that information. We're going to make sure, broads, we put it in the episode notes and on Instagram per usual, so you can find all of that. But let us know.
Sure. So all of our recaps, we now host on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/2 Black Girls, 1 Rose. But we have a lot of old content and old episodes on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all that jazz, all the way back to Ari's season. Mm-hmm. What else? Social media?
Socials, yeah. Our Instagram is 2 Black Girls, 1 Rose. Our Twitter is BLK. So it's just black with no A.
Yeah.
And then you can email us too at 2 Black Girls, 1 Rose @gmail.com. If you have Chad's OnlyFans screenshots,
send them through. Send them through, please.
Oh my God, you immediately regret that when tomorrow you wake up and there's just tons of screenshots of Chad.
God.
And you're like, no, this is not what I need.
I know.
We will leak them.
Yes.
Well, broads, please, yes, follow these ladies on Patreon. You will not regret it. And like you said, too, all the older content. Listen, there is a pause in Bachelor Nation right now. We're not getting anything. Now is a time to go back and listen to some of the Two Black Girls, One Rose episodes. I am currently listening to Peter's season. I am having a blast listening to you two. It's so much fun. So broads, join me and let's relive Peter's heinous season with these two wonderful women. It makes it better somehow. So thank you so much. Love you both. And broads, we'll chat soon.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye.